took the time to understand it's an understatement to underplug. So yeah, I'm gonna start them all with music stuff. You guys are gonna, how many of you guys do music? How many of you guys are involved in music? How many of you like music? Even like guitar players. I met some guy yesterday. I was walking out of a bathroom and he's listening to a song. I was like, you know this song? And he looked at me, he's like, you know this song? So, you know, again, that's the networking thing too, you guys. You gotta get on that. But how are you guys? I'm gonna post this when I get back. I gotta get some, you know, healthy drinks. Where's Remy at? Shout out Remy from the 6. I'm hitting up Nectar. He knows what that is. He loves, these are like stupid $10 healthy drinks, but I need some ginger and some chamomile or whatever you call it today. But I'm actually gonna talk about something important. So you guys, if you're new, subscribe. Well, so if you like the content and like to, at the end, you know, you can make that decision later, but I'm just reminding you now. Stock market news, we got the courses, you know, all sorts. Just check it out. But I'm talking about market makers. You know, I was thinking today, it's the market's off, and even now, you know, there's some stuff happening with the futures market. You know, futures are still open, and there's still some movements. It's actually interesting. I think I'm gonna talk about it in some other videos, and I am gonna live stream. I think when I get back, I don't know. I'm trying to decide. We have the after hours. I'm still gonna do that today, but that's gonna be at 5. So I'm thinking, I don't know whether I get back. I'm pretty sure we either might go at market open or after, but just be on the lookout. That's what I'm saying. Also subscribe with the notifications. But in the meantime, I'm talking about market makers, and this came up on the stream before, and why I want to talk about that is it just reminded me, you know, like, who's trading right now, you know, like who is buying stuff. Like when we see futures, and you know, that's like one level, and maybe I'll make a video on futures. And how many of you, you know, I know Dylan, he's in the after hours, he's a futures trader. Alex, my Greek freak, he's another futures trader. He does it for a living actually, which is, you know, he's like 20 something. But the question here, dang, I'm about to hit up this drive-through. But the question that comes from all this, no, I'm going another way, is, you know, who's buying at this time when like the market's closed? And, you know, the market makers is the answer to this, but that's, you know, it leads me on a bigger topic I want to discuss, because I think a lot of you guys as traders, whether you're beginners or advanced, some people aren't familiar with how they work. And now I want to talk about options. If I say the number $4.80, what does that mean to you? Or $4.90 or $3.60 on an option chain? I want to see what that means to people. Because if you've traded enough options, you've seen enough events, even if you watch enough of my streams, when the option chain flashes that means something's up. It's like, why do all the options go to that same price? You know, why, you know, are there different prices on different contracts? You know, and how does it, you have to ask yourself this question, how does it maintain an order? You know, think about when we say cheaper contracts, you know, shorter expiration dates are going to expire at a certain, you know, they're going to be cheaper than longer. You know, this is where, you know, people, this is what's fascinated me into saying, yeah, I go for mispriced contracts. I say that to some people in Wall Street, you know, guys who run fucking Wall Street meme pages on Instagram. So, you know, I'm kind of looking at them a little sideways too. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's, you know, think about how complex this is where does this order come from? How does that order get maintained? And that's where the market makers come in. I don't know if I should try to skate through here. I think I'm going to try to skate it. It's very intense. But yeah, that's where the market makers come in now. These are the people controlling it. So what is the market maker? Again, as always, I encourage you guys, go to Investopedia. They're going to explain things way better than me. I kind of explain things in a lot of slang and weird definitional terms, but you know what the market maker do, they are there to provide liquidity. Now this is very important, especially in the day and age we're in now, you know, because this came in after 07 and 08, and you know, these high frequency traders, you know, market makers existed before high frequency traders though. Let me elaborate on that. Pretty much what a market maker is somebody willing to create a market. So how do you create a market? Is if you are saying, I will come in and I will always buy and sell a certain asset of something. So like, let's say, I'm trying to think of something. The best is if you've seen Big Short. That is the best way to describe it. However, I'm trying to think of a smaller level. Like I'm looking, I have a Bang energy drink, or like, you know, I guess do people, let's say straws go banned, okay? I'm looking at this McDonald's cup. Donald Trump MCD McDonald's. I love swing trading McDonald's too. If you guys know me in the options, I really do love McDonald's, and I did have McDonald's. Say we're not going to get into this, but let's say straws. Okay, obviously now straws in California are going banned, and let's say people want to resell them and and everything disappears, right? Let's just, bear with me on this example, but now you want to sell your straws. It's like, where do you sell straws? And like, so you come to me and say, hey, I want to buy or I want to sell these straws. I'm like, I'll make a market. I will always agree to buy or sell straws from people. So I create a website or I make an E-Trade, whatever, and I'm like, all right, here we're going to do, I set the bid and ask pretty much. So people could come in between, but I'll set the highs and lows. So if, let's say, nobody wants to buy a straw today, I will come in with a set offer evaluation. And even if same thing on the reverse side. So hopefully that's not too convoluted, but this is to understand options. One, there's complexity to it, but now two, this is also how you could guarantee you're going to make money on certain contracts. Some people do question, they're like, well, how do I know I'm going to make as much money? How do you know what the contract price is going to be worth? Well, that's where intrinsic value comes in, and it's like, well, who's going to buy it? The market maker. And that's what I want to explain to you guys. Like right now, it's like, who's trading most of the time? It's like when you guys see 136 million shares traded in a day on the S&P 500, you got to understand what's happening. That's one, people could be buying and selling. It's the same people, but a lot of times it's nobody, simple as that. Like right now, there might be a fraction of the traders on the markets or on futures, but the market maker is pretty much supplementing it. So they're not, because again, if a market maker wasn't there to always buy or always sell, there'd be gaps. It would look like, literally go look at some foreign countries, and I'll pull them up in a video or even on live stream today if somebody asks me on them. You could go look at some foreign countries and their banks and stuff, it's just really choppy, and their stock market, it's just not volatile. But now this concept of market makers, like I said, it's been around and it's used in most countries, even the third world countries nowadays, but hopefully you get the idea. But now understanding this, if you guys watched it now, understanding how how the market makers work, or understand what the function is. They're there to provide liquidity. The next question is now, how do you make money off of it, or really, what is the main point, or I guess the key edge you could get off of this? This is understanding prices. It's understanding when you're seeing certain prices on those option chains, are they actual people? Is it actual demand, or is it a market maker? And even then, if you guys, how many of you, and like comment below on this, how many of you guys have actually just gotten a crazy fill on an option and you wouldn't have believed it? Or if you look at it at first, you would have thought, no way. And that's the thing I will tell you guys. Sometimes a good example is booking. Go look at, it's even the bigger options. I think booking and Google's a little harder, but if you go look at booking, let's say, right? Go look at some of their options and you're gonna notice the spreads are 100%. Literally, it'll be $2 on the bid, $4 on the ask for like 50 strikes on them. It's insane. But what I'm trying to tell you with that is that it may look insane, but that's the market makers. And now that's why even when I say, they're pricing it because of uncertainty, and it moves, and then pretty much the less real activity on it, and like there's not too many people playing booking options, the more of the spread. But then again, you could get filled at a much better price. Believe it or not, I've had it happen a few times with booking, where it's just like, what? But but then again, like I'm saying, you don't know all the time now if you're going to get filled on something. So that's one thing. What else? I blanked on it real quick, but again, really what I'm trying to say is with these market makers, you could see the value, and even then now, you could also get an idea or indication of what the market is thinking or what the market makers are expecting based on the prices. So I'm going to go over that video again, I've made a video on this in the past, I think we're going to go over it again, but understanding pricing expectations with options, but that's related here to market makers. So that's where I think a lot of people miss out. And if you guys go, I think it was 3 days ago, I made the montage video. I'll post it in the description, the link to the stream, you guys could see. I had a full explanation on it. Some of you were pretty fascinated because when I was saying, I was saying pull your bids, because that's the next thing. And now what I'll have to tell you, this is what I'm gonna leave it up on. This is probably the best. This is for the guys who you watch all the way through, you guys get the gold, because watch your bids. Literally, I'm not saying spoof orders, because if you've put in orders to like fake demand, that's illegal. But what I'm telling you is scale in your orders and don't, start small, put in orders, pull them back, and understand that be quick with your orders. I don't like to, it's not like a stock where you set a limit or a stop. I like to go in and out because you get to see kind of where the market makers are pricing stuff. And with the volatility, you'll either get really lucky, but sometimes you could get screwed. So you got to watch out. But understanding how the market makers operate, you know, you're going to get to come out with a lot of stuff. So it could either hurt you or help you a lot. I'm going to make another video. We're going to talk about now how market makers price in and expect this, but I don't know. Maybe I'll talk about this a lot. I don't know if I'd talk about this in the free stock trading course. I might have to talk, you know, this is something that fascinates a lot of people, but I would say too, though, don't get too much in depth with it where you turn into one of these algo, you know, I'm still trading, you know, you know my knowledge with this. There's a reason why I'm not writing these programs. One, I'm not smart enough, you know, I stay in my fucking lane. I play my position on it. But at the same time too, it also is, you know, they have there's different things that work for different, you know, different probabilities, but also different profit, you know, potentials and risks and timing and all that. But I'm doing my thing with it. But you guys think it's very interesting, and how you could use it on both ends is very fascinating. So I love you guys. Hopefully you like this. Now, can you subscribe or like? Let me know. Give me some comments on it. How many of you, what's the worst time you've been dicked by the market maker? And by that, I mean, you put in an order and it just got filled randomly, because that's what you got to think. Who filled that order, right? So that, and what other questions? So please, too, give me questions on market makers. If I didn't explain anything, if you want me to go more in detail or something, just let me know. I'd love to go over it, all right? Love ya. Peace.